Hello, thank you for joining PTT session today for the performance of first quarter year 2019. I'm Jitya Pawong-Sarot from Investor Relations and Ms. Panporn Sasananan from Investor Relations Vice President will present the performance and also update you the outlook for the year 2019 today. So let's start with Kun Panporn.
Okay. I start with the update for the activities in the first quarter. I update you for the PTT first. In the first quarter, we established the Mapta Put Air product, which is the industrial gas product, which this company we invest about 51%, and it will be sell the gas to the industrial group. The second update is the National Energy Policy Office. They allowed PTT to sell the NGV price at they uplift the NGV price about 1 baht for every 4 months. So it will be about 3 baht per kilo by January next year. So this will be benefit to PTT directly, that we will be have the lower loss from the NGV sales. And the third one, that we divest our the palm land in Indonesia. That is the last part that we have. And then may skip to the PTTOR, which is our 100% subsidiaries in the oil business. We just opened the new Cafe Amazon, the first branch in Singapore by April. That's for the activity in the first quarter this year. On the right hand side, that is the update for the rating from S&P, that for PTT we have uplift 1 notch from the standalone from BBB to BBB+, and the uplift for the local currency rating from BBB+ to A-. So after PTT has been uplift both the standalone and final rating, the local currency, so that's why our subsidiaries, which is like PTTEP, the local currency rating has been upgraded from BBB+ to A-. And GC and Thai Oil, the final rating, both foreign currency and the local currency, has been uplift from the BBB to BBB+. So that's all for the activity highlight in the first quarter. So let me move you to the summary for the financial highlight. You can see that the revenue in the first quarter, we're going to compare it with the fourth quarter. We call it Q1Q. The revenue decreased by 11%, mainly from the trading business. The trading business, the revenue decreased around 19%, mainly from the volume decreased around 2% from diesel and jet. And while the selling price is decreased around 6%. Another part that the revenue decrease is come from the petrochemical. The revenue decreased around 11% Q1Q, mainly from the olefin side, since the spread of the HDPE and PP decreased around 7 to 9%, versus the PX and benzene also decreased around 5 to 15%. So let's move to the EBITDA. You can see that the EBITDA increased around 25% Q1Q. It's mainly from the stock gain in the first quarter. Since in the fourth quarter, PTT Group, we have the stock loss around $6.2 per barrel, while in the first quarter we have the stock gain around $1.5 per barrel. And the EBITDA, so that's why the EBITDA in the petrochemical and refinery, they increase around 17 billion baht. The main is come from the stock gain that I mentioned. But in the gas business, the EBITDA decreased since the gas cost is increased, and the EBITDA for the E&P is decreased as well. Since the selling price is decreased around 3%, and in the first quarter there was the shutdown of the Bongkot field since there was the storm during the early in the first quarter. So let's move to the net income. That you can see that the net income increased around 50% Q on Q. The increase is come from the EBITDA that increased, and we have the lower of depreciation, and they have the stronger in the gain of the foreign exchange, and we have the lower in the income tax. So that's why our Q on Q net income increased. So that's all for the summary of the first quarter, the performance of PTT Group. So next, we will touch a little bit around about the key driver.
Okay, so let's move to the detail of the key drivers and also the performance. Start with the business key driver of PTT. Start with the average Dubai and fuel oil. You will see that on quarter basis, you will see the average Dubai has been dropped around 6%. But for the end rate, it actually has been improved to be in average in year 2019 in the first quarter around $63.5 per barrel, and it have a signal of the improving, especially in May and also in April. Like in April, it have an average in around $70 per barrel, and this one the end rate has been close at a higher level. That's why we have marked the stock gain on the first quarter compared to the year in 2018 that the end rate of the Dubai is close at around $53 per barrel. So comparing year on year, you will see that the average Dubai has been pretty much stable or less than around 1%. And for the fuel oil in the orange line that show you on the same graph, you will see that quarter on quarter basis is the same as Dubai, the same trend, which is decreasing around 7%. But comparing year on year, for fuel oil price, it has been improved around 9%. So let's move on to the NG price, which is the natural gas price. Start with the LNG price spot, which is represented by JKM, the Japan Korea market, which is in the blue line. You will see that the price of LNG spot is pretty volatile. Especially it has been high in the quarter 4 last year, but has been decreasing in the first quarter and still continue decreasing in this year because of the supply, which is have more plants has been get more supply from US and also from Australia, and also this year there will be more supply, which we will describe later in the outlook. So that's for LNG, and the JLC represent for the LNG contract, which is more stable for the LNG contract price. And for the pink line one, which is the average pool price of PTT gas, which is blend of 3 sources. One is from Gulf gas, the second one is from Myanmar gas, and the third one is from LNG portion, which is will be increasing. So the average pool price has been pretty much stable, and it has increasing trend according to the Dubai crude. So the average pool price gas normally, like in the Gulf and Myanmar gas, they have the lag time for around 6 to 12 months. That would represent the lag time from the Dubai price because the gas price linked to the fuel oil price. So you will see that in the first quarter, the average of the gas price has been increased a little bit to around $7.3 per MMBTU, comparing to last year fourth quarter, which is around $7.2 per MMBTU. This is because of the increases in the gas fuel from Myanmar. And on the left-hand side on the bottom, the petrochemical product price, which is the key driver that represent for petrochemical side of PTT group, is a HDPE, the high-density polyethylene price. You will see that there's a pressure on the olefin market, both in HDPE and also PP. The HDPE quarter-on-quarter basis, comparing first quarter this year and last quarter on year 2018, the HDPE price dropped around 9%. And if we comparing year-on-year, it's dramatically dropped around 21%. This is mainly of the pressure from the trade war effect that have been lessened the demand because of kind of like they worry to carry a lot of the stock. That's why demand has been whole for the trade war effect. And for PP also in the same trend that quarter-on-quarter basis they have been decreased around 7%, and year-on-year basis is around 11%. So pretty much the same reason with the pressure on the olefin. And move to the aromatics one that we show the PX with the naphtha spread and the benzene and naphtha spread. You will see that quarter-on-quarter basis, PX and naphtha decreasing around 2%. This is mainly because of some of the supplies that have been released in the quarter one, but the polyester demand for PX is still good. That's why it has not lessened much. But comparing year-on-year, PX has been doing very well. They have been improving for around 47%. So in the PX1 is still doing okay. For benzene with the naphtha spread, Q1Q basis has been decreasing pretty much for around 44%, and year-on-year decreasing around 77%. This is mainly because of the stock that have been piled up in China, and also the downstream demand like in styrene monomer and also phenol has been lessened. And this is make from the turnarounds of many downstream plants as well. That's why benzene has been a lot of pressure in the quarter one. And on the average foreign exchange rate that we show on the right hand side on the bottom, you will see that this is the baht compared to USD. In average, the first quarter year 2019 is around 31.8 baht per USD. Comparing to last year fourth quarter, this is more appreciated, which is fourth quarter in average at around 33 baht per USD. So quarter on quarter it has been appreciated for around 1.2 baht. So let's move on to the first quarter performance, comparing Q1Q with the last year fourth quarters. You will see that the net income has been improved for around 50%. This is mainly of the stock gain that we marked in the first quarter comparing to the stock loss that we marked in the fourth quarter last year. You will see that on the stack that we show in the yellow part, stock loss in the fourth quarter last year has been pretty huge. It's around 14.8 billion baht. While this year we have marked stock gain for around 2 billion baht. So we compare for you the operating net income. Our core operating exactly has been softened for around 23%, which I will describe in each business. For PTT in the blue part, you will see that PTT has been lessened for around 31%. This is mainly from the gas business. The gas business has been pressured, especially in gas separation plant business unit that they got the selling price pressure from petrochemical price, which is HDPE and PP, as I described before, that they have a pressure from the trade war effect. And also the volume of the gas separation plant has been dropped a little bit comparing to last quarter because of some of the unplanned shutdown from public and also some of the plant shutdown. So that make the GSP performance has been lessened. And from sale and marketing performance, this is one mainly softened from the industrial customer that we sell, which is the selling price linked to fuel oil. Because of the fuel oil drop comparing quarter on quarter, that's why their margin has been squeezed. So mainly the gas business quarter on quarter has been lessened from gas production plant and also the industrial sector. And for trading business, which is PTT do by ourselves, they got pressure performance as well from the margin that has been squeezed from the domestic condensate price that has been dropped because of the light crude, which is a substitute. The light crude price has been lower a lot. That's why they gave more discount for the domestic condensate. So the margin has been lessened. And the volume also dropped comparing to last quarter because of the seasonal demand in winter. And for petrochemical, next is the upstream business, PTTEP, which is the exploration and production. PTT has been doing well. Their performance has been improved for around 11% Q1Q. This is mainly because of their lower operating expense and also the tax benefit from the baht appreciation in first quarter. Even though their operating performance has been softened a bit from lower average selling price, especially from the gas price and also the volume that has been dropped from some of the unplanned shutdown from Pabuk. And for petrochemical and refining, in the green part, you see that this one has been excluded stock gain loss in the yellow part that I described. So this is show their operating performance, which is dropped around 74%. This is mainly because of the weakened market GIM from lower of the product spreads in almost products. And also the softened petchem products that both olefins and aromatics, the petrochemical price has been pressures without the higher stock gain loss that I described. So that's for P&R business. And we separate for you for power business, which is will become a bigger portion because GPSC, our flagship in power, just acquired global business, which is a lot bigger. So you will see that comparing quarter on quarter, power has been improved for around 48%. This is mainly because of GPSC that acquiring gold for around 69%. But this is just count for around 18 days for first quarter, so they will fully affect for the revenue recognized in quarter 2. And for other affiliates, you will see that all this part has become bigger and also the performance also improving for around 10%. This is mainly from the oil business that we transfer to PTT OR as the separate company and now move to the other affiliates part. Oil performance has been improving from the lower of the stock loss, as I mentioned from the Dubai crude that has the end rate has been higher comparing to last year, and also rising of the selling volume from aviation fuel and also the diesel, which is in the seasonal demand that in traveling season and also manufacturing seasons. Although the margin has been squeezed from aviation pricing structure. And also the LNG business, which is our subsidiary, also recognize higher revenue comparing to last year. They recognize revenue as around 8.3 million ton per annum. Now increasing from January to start recognize at 10 million ton per annum. That's why LNG also contribute more. So the overall of the net income has been improving for around 50% to close as around 29 billion baht in first quarters. So next, let's talk about the balance sheet position. As I mentioned before that our flagship GPSC just acquired global business. So this is the main reason that's why our total asset position has been increased for around 7%. This is because we acquired Glow to our financial statement, and so that's why the property, plant, and equipment also increased, and for the liability side also increased. This is make our gearing ratio on the right hand side that we show you the net debt to EBITDA also increased from 0.3 to 0.55. However, still lower than our policy, which is capped at around 2 times. So this is the overall of the financial performance, and now let's Kun Panporn brief you for the outlook for year 2019.
Okay, I start with the outlook for petroleum first. I start with the Dubai. The oil market remains tense since there's an exemption to the U.S. sanction on the Iran export and the political crisis in Venezuela, and the OPEC producer just keep withholding the supply. So we think that in the second quarter, the Dubai price should be around $65 to $70. But by the way, after they have after the period of the turnaround in the third quarter, so we think that there will be more supply in the market. We think that in the third quarter, the Dubai should be lower around $60 to $65 per barrel. Let's move to the products. We start with more gas or gasoline. In the second quarter, we think that the spread for the gasoline to Dubai will be increased since it's the limit supply as the Asian refinery peak maintenance and the peak demand in the U.S. ahead of driving season and the demand from the India and Indonesia. So we think that the gasoline spread should be around $10 per barrel. By the way, in the third quarter, we think that the spread will be going down since there will be more supply, such as from the Vietnam. After the Nisen refinery, they have the full capacity around 200 kbd, and there will be the new supply from the Brunei around 175 kbd. And in the fourth quarter, we think that the spread also going down as well, since there will be a lot of inventory. So let's move to the spread of the diesel or gas oil. In the second quarter, we think that the spread of the gas oil will be quite stable, since there will be the improved demand in the China, and there will be limited demand during the heavy spring maintenance schedule in Asia. But in the third quarter, we think that demand will be quite increased. This is the preparation for the IMO and the healthy Asia Pacific demand supported by the agricultural sector. So we think that the spread for the diesel and gasoline should be around, the diesel should be around 12 to 17 in the third quarter, and will be increased around 17 to 18 in the fourth quarter. For the fuel oil, we think that in the second quarter, there will be less supply during the heavy maintenance schedule, and there will be higher demand for electricity in Middle East. So we think that the fuel oil spread should be okay in the second quarter, but it will be lower in the third and fourth quarter, since it will be the preparation for the IMO. So we think that in 2019, the Asian refinery margin should be around $4 to $5 per barrel. Let's move to the outlook of the gasoline, the gas price. The spot price of the Asian LNG spot price, the gas price is going down to, in April is around $6 per MMBTU, and in May is around 5, in June is around 5. The reason is come from a lot of supply from since last year. Last year there was the supply from Russia around 11 million tons, and this year there will be a lot of supply from like Australia around 10.6 million tons, from US around 25 million tons. So we think that it quite will be the pressure from the gas price in 2019. But by the way, it will be the buyer benefit of the gas sector. Let I update you about the petrochemical outlook. Start with the olefin first. In the second quarter, it will be the peak turnaround of the petrochemical plant during March to June. So it will be tight supply during this period. For HDPE price will be quite stable in the second quarter, but LDPE supply will be tight but limit demand, so it will be quite stable. For the PP in the second quarter, we think that the demand will be improved due to the durable goods, and the PP plant in the Middle East and India remain shut down, so it's still tight supply of the PP. But in the third quarter, it's become the manufacturing season, so we think there will be more demand from both the HDPE, from PE and from PP. Let's move to the aromatic side. Both the PX and benzene, there will be quite have a lot of the supply. Since for PX, there will be the new supply from mainly from the China, such as like the Zhejiang Petrochemical, about 4 million tons per annum, and the Hengli Group, about 4 million tons per annum, will become in the second half of this year. For the benzene, there's a lot of supply, like the Hengli, Brunei, about 4.5 million tons, or the Sinopec, or the Hengli, or the Saudi Aramco. So we think that both of the benzene and paraxylene, there will be quite have the pressure on the spread as well. Regarding the ongoing of the U.S.-China trade dispute, we think that it will bring down the global economic growth. We think that so it will be effect to the demand of the petrochemical. In 2019, we think that there will be the global economic growth will be down around 1.1%, but next year is around will be decreased around 0.2%. This is the effect from the U.S.-China trade dispute. Let I update you. This is the guideline for the second quarter. The first one, this is the power development plan, which has been announced by the end of April, has been approved by the cabinet by the end of April. This is benefit to the gas operator, since you can see that in the red color, this is the gas to power. From the previous PTT, which is the PTT number 2 of 15, this is increased from around 37%, the portion that the gas to power, the previous one, but the new one has been increased to around 53%. So I think this one will be benefit to all the gas operator, and including PTT. The gas price trend in the second quarter, we think that it will be slightly lower, since normally it will be linked to the last 6 to 12 months of the fuel oil price. So during the fourth quarter last year, the oil price is decreasing. So we think that it will be cost to the cost of the gas. In the second quarter, our GSP number 6, we have the plant shutdown around 6 days, and have to turn down about 8 days in the second quarter. And this is our new capacity from the LNG. Our LNG, we have the new capacity around 1.5 million tons per annum, and it will start to record the revenue in the fourth quarter. So totally, right now we have around 11.5 million tons per annum of the capacity of the LNG. Let I move to the NGV. As I mentioned, that the government had allowed us to uplift the public price around 1 baht per kilos every 4 months. So it will be effect starting from the mid of May, every 4 months up until next year in the January. This one the uplift of the LGV price we have we will let PTT to have lower loss around 2 billion baht per year. I think that's all for the guideline for PTT. Okay, that's okay. So I think let's move to the questions from.
Yeah. So there's a question online. The first one is what longer term return on equity target and how to achieve this?
Actually, in PTT group we have we call it the hurdle rate when we invest in different sector. For example, like the investment in the upstream business, we have like it is the high risk and high return. So it's a double digit of the return. So it's around like 18 to 20%. And for the business such as like the petrochemical, it's like the midstream, so it's lower risk than the exploration or the upstream. So we have the hurdle rate around like 14 to 15%. But in the infrastructure, our hurdle rate is lower, maybe around like 10%.
So move on to the second question. They have a questions on non-oil business, which is within oil business. How much did you pay for Cafe Amazon and what valuation did you pay? So maybe let Khun Panporn update for the PTOR status.
Since right now PTTOR is in the process of filing to the SEC, so we could not disclose much about the PTOR right now, but we can give you some get some idea on like there was the questions about the breakdown of the margin in the Cafe Amazon. We couldn't give you the details of the Cafe Amazon, but I give you this way. Currently, the EBITDA of the PTTOR is around 80% is the oil business and 20% is the non-oil business.
So just give you the rough number for the oil EBITDA that include oil and non-oil is about 15 billion. That's for EBITDA, and around 4 billion is for non-oil business, which is non-oil have Cafe Amazon and also convenience store and master franchise. But mainly contribution for non-oil business half is the Cafe Amazon and convenience store. So maybe just can calculate from that one. And the next question related to the non-oil business, they ask about any plan and project to invest in new non-oil products, and also could you please comment on potential competitors in rural areas and what's the barrier of entry?
I'm not sure that we bring the CAPEX plan or not, but in the CAPEX plan, our CAPEX plan totally is around 167 billion baht for PTT and the wholly owned subsidiaries. About 40% of the 167 billion baht is go to the gas business, and the rest, around 40%, is go to the joint venture and wholly owned subsidiaries. This one include the CAPEX for the PTTOR, and another 16 is the other infrastructure CAPEX. So since I could not give you the exact number of the CAPEX, so it's just tell you that it's in part of the PTT CAPEX, which is around not more than 40% of the 167.
So for the question, could you please comment on potential competitors? I think this one commercial one that maybe we cannot disclose, and also the barrier of entry. I'm not sure this one you mean for non-oil or maybe non-oil.
Yeah, but I think since it's one of it's the commercial part, so I don't think we could comment on these questions.
Okay. So let's move on to the third question. What's your future plan to deal with the U.S. and China trade war?
The impact from the U.S.-China dispute currently it affect to only the price of the petrochemical. We haven't seen its effect to our volume, but by the way, I think finally it will affect to the volume since there will be slower demand from China, so it will be indirectly affect to the volume. But by the way, as I mentioned that the U.S.-China dispute it will be affect to the global demand or the GDP. That's why I mentioned that this year will be less effect than next year. It's around like 0.1%, but for next year it will be higher, maybe around 0.2%.
So for the fourth question, is there any effect or potential from the strength of Thai currency?
Currently, we need to see that way. When the baht depreciated, we prefer the baht depreciation since we will have more margin. But by the way, PTT Group we have because natural hedge concept. It means that we gonna balance our EBITDA with our the US EBITDA with our US liability. So when it move, it will be balanced by themselves. So we don't think it will be much effect to PTT or PTT Group.
Okay, so just add on, we also do the cash flow hedge. That's why for the cash flow transaction, for the cash balance should be okay. But what Kun Penporn mentioned is about the counterbalance for the bottom line to be able to neutral with the foreign exchange sensitivity. The next question is about what's your revenue and the margin outlook on the LNG project? Update on LNG project that we have. Let me update on existing capacity, and then Kun Panporn will mention about the new project in Maptaput. Our existing LNG project that we have it now, we have Terminal 1 with a capacity of around 11.5, and now Terminal 2 is in construction in the same area in Maptaput area, about 7.5 that will be COD on year 2022. So in the year 2022, we would have the 19 million ton per annum approved, and we also have the new project that in bidding in Maptaput number 3 that we join with Gulf. So that would be if the feasibility study has been approved, so that one will be the Terminal 3.
But the third LNG terminal, we haven't finalized the investment yet. Currently, it's under the process of the land reclamation. So and during the period that we do the land reclamation, they asked the Gulf and PTT to just study on the LNG terminal number 3. One of the questions is about the outlook for the LNG project. Let me I give you more information that the LNG, the gas LNG outlook in the second quarter, we think that is quite tight since there was a lot of supply, as I mentioned. Most of the supply will come in the second half of this year, so we think that the LNG price will be lower and lower. I mean, in 2019.
Okay, so I think would be the same question with non-oil one. They asked for what's the main product of PTTOR, which is preparing for filing, and also are they listed on stock market?
Okay. The main product of PTTOR actually is the product in the gas station, such as like petroleum product, and we call it oil business, and the non-oil business is mainly like the Cafe Amazon, like the 7-Eleven, answer to that asset are they listed in the stock market? Not yet. It's in the process to filing with the SEC.
So I think that's all the questions.
Okay.
So if you don't have any more question posted here, you can email to PTIR team at ptt-ir@pttplc.com, which is in the thank you page if you would like to refer to. And thank you for today joining our PTT session and hope to see you again next time.
Thank you สวัสดีค่ะ